For Action News, I'm Anna Dolosky. We've all tried everything to lose weight, haven't we? Low carb, low fat, cut this, cut that. But how do you know what really works? A new study claims a low-carb diet is now more effective for weight loss and reducing cardiovascular risk than a low-fat diet. Researchers compared effects of low-carb versus low-fat diets in a randomized trial of obese participants. At 1 year, participants in the low-carb diet had greater decreases in weight, fat mass, and other cardiovascular risk factors than those on the low-fat diet. But before you trash all the bread in your house, consider this. There have been just as many studies showing that low-fat diets work just as well as low-carb diets, which leads Action friend Dr. David Sears to wonder, will consensus ever be reached?
Part of the problem with a lot of these studies is that getting people to effectively and durably change their eating behaviors is extremely hard, as anybody can attest to. And so the thing that really we need to be studying is how to get people to do that. But they seemed to be successful in this. There was a little bit of a problem in that what the people were eating was based on self-reporting, but the kind of self-reporting that they did was fairly rigorous. However, the thing that's interesting to me about this particular study is how much attention it's receiving. It's not that novel. There's been a 140 or 160 year history of people debating high fat versus high carb for weight loss. The very first of these is attributed to someone who was an undertaker in the 1860s, although his diet excluded some things that were carbohydrates. And then in the 1880s, the inventor of the Salisbury steak, a guy named Salisbury, actually promoted the more high protein, high fat diet that then eventually was adopted and given names like the Atkins diet, the Zone diet by Barry Sears, no relation, and others that have been studied over many years. You would think after this amount of time that we'd have some kind of consensus over what is going. And I will tell you that the pendulum is swinging now toward the getting away from carbohydrates and going more toward protein and fat. But the data is far from conclusive. And when so many studies say the opposite of what a study like this says, you really can't get all that excited. Nutrition moves in little tiny steps. It doesn't move in huge breakthroughs. And unfortunately, our news media is dependent on its sales. And so the tendency is for things to be made a whole lot more exciting than they really are. This is interesting, I would say. I would say that there are probably some people for whom this might be a good approach. But I don't think that we really can say that this study has told us definitively what the best approach for weight loss is for all people.
To read more on this story and others, you can head to our website, action.org. That's acsh.org. And while you're there, don't forget to also sign up for your daily dose of news delivered straight to your inbox. For Action News, I'm Anna Dolosky.